Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Jai Hind and a very good afternoon to Brigadier Ajit Apte, Colonel Vinod Marwa, Founder, President and Trustee of IIEBM, our Dean, Dr. Poonam Nikam, faculty members and all the students of IIEBM. I, Andrea D'Souza, MC for this session, welcome you all to the orientation program for the batch 2023-2025. It's my honor to now introduce Brigadier Ajit Apte. Sir, may I have your permission to proceed? Thank you, sir. Brigadier Ajit Apte is an alumnus of the National Defence Academy and was commissioned from the Indian Military Academy, Dehradun, into the Regiment of Artillery on 20th December 1970. Sir is a second-generation Army officer. Sir fought in the India-Pakistan War of 1971 on the Eastern Front in the Jessore-Khulna sector and was subsequently deployed on the Western Front as well. He has served on the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir and in the Eastern sector in the counter-insurgency environment. Sir has varied experience in command, staff, and instructional appointments. On superannuation from the Army after more than 35 years of service in January 2006, he also served into two multinational corporate sector as the Vice President, Head of HR. Sir is a widely traveled internationally and within the country. He is a fellow research scholar from the Department of Defense and Strategic Studies, University of Pune, and is a member for Center for Advanced Strategic Studies, CASS Pune. He was the former chairman of the British Business Group Pune chapter. Currently, Sir is a member of the India Advisory Council of a multinational talent sourcing company. Also, we are honored to have Sir as part of the Advisory Council of IIEBM since its inception. Without any further ado, I would now like to invite Brigadier Ajit Apte to address the young minds present here.
Hello. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Can you all hear me at the back? Yes, sir. Okay. Firstly, I must thank Colonel Vinod Marwa, a very old colleague of mine since 1967. So that takes us back to 56 years when we were at the National Defence Academy and subsequently in war also together, though he is from the engineers and I am from the Regiment of Artillery. I must also thank Dr. Jay, his son, and the entire staff for inviting me. I have a long association with this institute, in fact, since its inception. This organization used to first be at Senapati Bapat Road, Tangent Building. Am I right, Vinod, in that? So now it has grown into a very nice, well-established academy, and you are all very privileged and honored, you must consider yourselves, to be here to undertake this program in business management and administration. That is point number one. Now, what I intend doing today is, you are all new inductees and you may name after a 2-year training program in which you are going to refine your skills in business management with, let's say, supply chain, HR, business development, business datamatics analysis, sales and marketing, and various verticals or options or domains that you have chosen to find yourself at a suitable position in the business environment. That is your main aim. And that is why you are here. Just like I joined the National Defence Academy 57 years ago because my aim was to join the Indian Army, and that's why we trained there to fine-tune our skills. We were just 16-year-old boys when we joined, and we were transformed from a schoolboy into an officer in the Indian Army within exactly 4 years. So that is what is called as transformation. That happened. Similarly, you all are probably a higher age bracket, and you are now being transformed into becoming business leaders. And one day you will take place in society. Some of you will become CEOs and managing directors. One day, some of you, for all I know, there could be a future Prime Minister and President of our country sitting amongst you here today. So that is also not a far off or a distant vision. It can happen. So you have to carve your niche and fit into the role for which you have chosen to come here. Now, in doing so, what is most important is that this institute is going to mold you to understand a few things which I wish to bring out. Number one is discipline. I think this is a new batch, so they have not visited the National Defence Academy at all. Maybe some of the faculty have. But I'm going to show you a clip subsequently which will give you an idea of what the National Defence Academy is and how does it transform people into becoming officers into the Indian Armed Forces, one of the finest in the world. I was very lucky that whatever I learnt at the National Defence Academy and at the Indian Military Academy, I could put to use like an acid test because the 71 war started and I found myself right on the front line in the fighting arm, and that actually proved to be a great experience. Similarly, you will take your place on the business platforms and you will have to deliver. So, discipline, punctuality, having a focus of what you wish to do, आपको क्या करना है, आपका इरादा पक्का होना चाहिए. How do you achieve? What are the focus points? What is your capability to function with integrity, honesty, loyalty? How can you become a rung in the ladder? मतलब आपके जो ग्रुप हैं उसमें आप किस तरीके का काम कर सकते हो, कैसा आप एडवाइस दे सकते हो आपके peers को, seniors को, juniors को, is very important. And whether it is the armed forces or whether it is in the business, corporate sector, everything is the same. There is no difference. It is only how you apply it. Next is, you should be an effective team member. This is one place in this institute where you will stay together, you will work together, you will play together, and you will build that bond of friendship. That bond of friendship which you have today. Someone may go to Nestle, somebody may go to Brook Bond, somebody may go to Bamalori company, somebody may go to Unilever, somebody may go in the government. But when you meet your friends, that bond should be with you. That yes, we were together at this institute and this is how we can become force multipliers to each other. Next is you must have that urge or that willingness to learn. मेरे को क्या आता है और मेरे को क्या नहीं आता है is very important. And remember, the learning curve is never complete. Even today we are learning. Everyone is learning. No one is perfect. So remember one thing, you have to keep learning. You have to keep educating yourself. You must have the ability to interact socially, professionally, make a business case, make a business statement. Everything you will learn here. You must also have the ability to have flexibility in mind. You must have the ability to function in an environment of uncertainty and ambiguity. आप ये बात समझ रहे हैं? You all understand? मतलब when the going is good, everyone will perform. But when the going is not good, it is tough, it is raining, it is very inclement weather, the going is not good for your company. The P&L or the profit and loss is at a place where you have to resurrect it. Those are tough times. It is how well you can perform in those adverse situations. As we say in the Army, Navy and the Air Force, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. And believe me, even in the corporate sector, in my experience of nearly 12 years as vice president with 2 international companies, I found that there is no difference between the armed forces and what we have in the civil. Next is your ability to take risks. Risk taking is very important, and it is combined with decision making. So you have to take a calculated risk at times. You have to ensure that you get the correct inputs for taking the right decision. आपको क्या करना है, किधर जाना है, it's a simple thing. You want to go and see a movie, they allow you that day on a Sunday. You are deciding, you are taking a decision. Which movie should I see? Is it English, Hindi, Marathi, whatever suits your taste? How far is it? How much money do you have? How far can you travel? All these are decision-making metrics. Can I go to Main Street, have that much time, have a meal there and come back? You are thinking. You are thinking, you are deciding. If there is a breakdown of your bus, how will you manage? That is flexibility. So आपके दिमाग में there must be flexibility in the mind. Okay, what are the alternatives? What are the contingencies? And this is exactly what will be expected from you as young leaders and entrepreneurs in business. Are you all with me so far? Yes, this is why you have come here. And one more important thing is running the extra mile. That is resolute combat potential. आप लोगों ने कारगिल वॉर के बारे में सुना है? 71 वॉर तो बहुत पुराना हो गया. It is 53 years old now. But in Kargil war, the Indian army scaled peaks up to 18,000 feet. That time I was a brigade commander. One of my regiments was deployed to fight the battle at Tiger Hill. आपने नाम सुना है टाइगर हिल का? And अभी in fact the Kargil war is now, if I am not wrong, 24th anniversary is approaching on 17th or 18th July, but the war had started. At that time, the Indian Infantry Battalion had one company to assault a feature जो 16,000 फुट के ऊपर था. When the infantry company assaulted, their company commander got killed. His name was Major Manoj Pandey. Whenever you are allowed to go to Main Street or Pune for a little outing, there is a colony there named Major Manoj Pandey Enclave. This officer got killed. The next person to him was Captain Gildyal from my brigade, from my regiment, 315 Field Regiment. He took over charge as the company commander and led the assault successfully. At 16,000 feet, he captured the picket. But when it was captured, he got information that the enemy has moved behind 1,000 feet up and is continuing to give effective fire, thereby disrupting the holding of that position. Now at that time, there was no time or effort for the Indian Army to send people again, a different battalion or a different company at 16,000 feet. Gildyal had casualties. There were people killed, there were people wounded. So it was attrition. This is one term which you will realize in the corporate sector, in business, what is known as attrition. आपके कंपनी में 15 लोग होंगे, 5 people will decide to go to another company because there is more money and they will attrite. This is something your HR functions will understand very well. And therefore, when a person attrites, मतलब उसने अपना नौकरी छोड़ दिया, you have to find a replacement. Army में attrition is only when you get killed in action or when you are wounded and you are unable to carry out your task after that. That is attrition. That is called battle attrition. So invariably when you are attacking, when you are going into war, there will be attrition where people will get killed. There will be attrition when people will get wounded and they will be unable to perform their duties. तो अगर आपके पास 120 लोग हैं, if there are 50% casualties, either killed or wounded, your company has come down to strength of how much? Anyone? 50% of 120? 60. You will have to still function with 60 people. So it is important to function with reduced detachments. It is important to function with additional responsibility and do it willingly and cheerfully. In the army, this happened. So Gildyal, when he was given this task, he carried out his resource management, and after an 8-hour halt, attacked again 1,000 feet up in the mountain slopes and captured that picket. Again, there were casualties. He got wounded. Gildyal, even today, has splinters in his right hand. He came after the battle. When he came to meet me, he got a Veer Chakra Gallantry Award. He could not salute. So I told him, don't worry, you salute with your left hand. Of course, he got wounded. He was transferred to the military hospital. That's a different story, that he found his wife there. There was a pretty looking nurse who was taking care of him. They fell in love and he finally married her. So sometimes in battle also such strange things happen. Gildyal today is a brigadier. He has risen up in rank and file. He did great work. I only want to give you this lesson, that despite all the odds, the Indian Army will continue to fight. And we had 629 people who were killed, and 50% of them were young boys who were not even 22 or 23 years old. What is your age out here? Anyone? So you're all the same age, in which 50% of the Indian Army young boys laid down their lives and sacrificed for the nation. Today we remember them, and since I fought the 71 war on the front line, I was myself 21 years old. My cousin was 25 years old. He was killed in action on the Western Front. He was a fighter pilot and newly married. I wasn't married, I was the bachelor. But these are the hardships, these are the ground realities which you young people need to understand, and the nation needs to understand. Today the Indian Armed Forces are the backbone of this nation. Whatever happens today in the country, whether it be natural disaster, calamity or anything, the Indian Army, Navy and Air Force is always called, and they rise to the occasion. This is an important lesson which the corporate sector has to understand, which has to realize what are the values of integrity, loyalty. Most important is one lesson which has come out: focus. When the going gets tough, the tough get going, and something known as resolute combat potential. जब आपका पूरा दम निकल गया है, despite that, if you can still run another 100 meters, you have won the race. You have reached the finishing point. You are declared winner to stand on top to receive the gold medal. But if someone tells you, एक 200 मीटर और भागिए, he shouldn't say, sorry साहब, मेरे को तो gold medal मिल गया, अभी मैं आगे नहीं जा सकता हूँ. No, the guy who can run that extra 100 meters or stretch himself for an extra target, he is the true winner. Is this point clear? You will experience this even in the corporate sector in business. As an HR vice president head at country head level, I have seen this. And the people who are unwilling to function under different teams and different managers, they will never succeed. So another lesson which comes out is, you must have the capability to function under different leaders. You must have the capability to have grit and determination. And lastly, something very, very important is your ability to function with great loyalty to your organization. You will realize once you get absorbed in different companies, there are lots of youngsters who want to leave after 2 years because they have got bored, they are looking for extra money. So they say, चलो यार इधर मेरे को अभी 50,000 मिल रहा है, 6 lakhs is my CTC, the other company is giving me a CTC or 12 lakhs, उधर चलते हैं. Don't do that. First, ground yourself, learn your profession. After that, then you can think of such things. I must very proudly say that when I was the vice president, head of HR with emphasis, Hewlett Packard, it's a very big international company into various business alignments all over the world. with businesses coming from the US, UK, Australia. I had 6 students from you still call it IIEBM? Colonel Marwa spoke to me, and I took 6 interns from here for a period of, I think, 3 months. Excellent people, I am telling you today. Each and every person, there were 4 girls and 2 boys, they performed magnificently. I gave them tasks of carrying out interviews, doing HR business partners, doing the Voice of Employee Index, doing various other things. And their performance was 100% dedication with loyalty and integrity. So much so that when their internship finished, my team came and said, "Sir, can't we keep them for a little longer?" Then, with a little effort from Colonel Marwa and Dr. Jay, I kept them back for another 15 days because I deployed them on another project. So what I'm trying to tell you is the manner in which they were groomed here, they were performing superbly there. And I'm happy to tell you that 3 of them I managed to take in the campus placement. They joined our company. And Vinod, I think that lady Kavita, outstanding. When she got married, I think some 15 years ago, she called us and we all attended the marriage. I don't know where she is now, but this is a clear example of what product comes out from your establishment. And I give full credit to Colonel Vinod Marwa, Dr. Jay, your principal, and the entire faculty which is sitting behind. They are here to help you. They are your friend, philosopher, guide, and in fact, they are your parents. So do not hesitate to ask them that, "Sir, मुझे ये नहीं आता है, ये मैं नहीं समझ पाया हूँ, आप kindly हमें समझाइए, आप हमारे बच्चे हैं." They are your father and mother all sitting here. They will guide you. Believe me, it is excellent. Finally, I come to what is leadership. Now, leadership is very important. You are all going to be leaders at some point of time. You are all going to be managers at some point of time. But there is a subtle difference between leadership and management. A leader is a person who will lead from the front. He is a person who will take hard decisions. He is a person whose integrity and loyalty is above board. He is a person who is innovative. He is thinking out of the box, and he is listening to you. That साहब आप, मैडम आप हमें बताइए ये काम करना है कैसे करेंगे. If you give an advice, I should not say, "अरे इसको कुछ आता नहीं मैं अपनो." Listen to everyone. I'll give you a very classic example. Way back in 1944, Second World War के बारे में आपने सुना है? बड़ा महायुद्ध हुआ था. उसके बाद एटम बॉम्ब गिराया जापान के ऊपर. याद है आपको? पढ़ा होगा आपने कहीं. Now what happened was, Hitler had invaded Europe and was occupying Europe for nearly 4 years. He had to be dislodged. So an Allied invasion force was made under General Eisenhower. He later was elected as President of the USA. He had to launch 3 million troops into battle from 5 different countries. उसमें Indian Army के भी थोड़े लोग थे. There were 1 or 2 Indian Air Force pilots also with the Royal Indian Air Force. They were to be launched and the weather deteriorated in the English Channel. Bada, Tufan. Everyone said, "Sir, we cannot launch the operation on 5 June 1944 because there's a hurricane, there is a storm, there is a cyclone." Hamara pura aerial bombardment, paratroopers of 2 airborne divisions, which is nearly 25 to 30,000 people, will go all over. So the invasion was called off by 1 day. But then they found that again the weather conditions are the same. So he called all his generals, admirals, air marshals, army, navy, air force. And Eisenhower sat thinking कि मैं क्या करूं. तो जो वेदर डिपार्टमेंट का आदमी है, मेट डिपार्टमेंट आप समझते हैं? मेट्रोलॉजिकल, बारिश होगा नहीं होगा, तूफान होगा, आंधी, there's a Met department. He told Eisenhower, he said, sir, there is a gap of 48 hours. जब weather थोड़ा ठीक है, इसके बाद weather will again go bad for the next 15 days. Eisenhower took views of all his subordinates. There were mixed opinions. But finally, that one man took the leadership decision. So even in your companies, because profit and loss is the main thing, your financial, all companies move on the financial P&L. This you will realize when you join your companies. Eisenhower listened to everyone. Some said jana chahiye, some said nahi jana chahiye. He just got up, he said, let's go. And at midnight, 3 million troops were launched into battle. Churchill, the Prime Minister of England, he told his wife in the morning tea they were having, he said, while we are having today tea, thousands will get killed on the beaches of Normandy. And that is exactly what happened. 8,000 troops were killed on the beaches of Normandy within 24 hours. And they were all young men who were not more than 23 years old or 24 years old. They laid down their lives so that humanity could resurrect, and they were victorious. The Allied invasion was a big success, and Europe was rid of the tyranny of Hitler. That was a decision taken. So sometimes such decisions will have to be taken by leaders. Is this point clear? And you will have to take business decisions. Luckily, you will not be dealing with the lives of men and women, as we do. Clear? So remember one thing, my dear friends, you have come here to understand what are the business dynamics, to understand what is your role in this, and how best you can fit in. I am going to show you 2 films. I know you have had lunch. It's a heavy day. You've had 2-3 lectures before this. Some of you will be wanting to sleep, which is but natural. I must tell you, I also slept as a 16-year-old boy in the NDA. And we had learned the art of sleeping with our eyes open and standing. I don't expect you to do that. But let me show you 2 clips. And after that, it is open for question answer. Thank you.
एक सुर है, एक रंग है, एक करम अपना है तिरंगा, जान अपनी थाम के रखना। रंग बसंती चढ़े आवे, लखा दे नाल लड़े आवे। एनडीए ये हीरे तराशे, देश के हीरो निकले यहाँ से। सरफरोशी की मशाले, हाथों में सुबहोशी। सेवा परमो धर्म है हमारा करम। सेवा परमो धर्म है हमारा करम। जल थल और नभ की सेना पे गर्व करते हम। जज्बा भूखे हैं ऐसा देश पे मर मिटने का। रहती दुनिया तक जो होगा ना कभी कम। एनडीए है शान अपनी, इससे है पहचान अपनी। हार न माने किसी मैदान में, हासिल करे हर मकाम। अमर रहे तेरा नाम, भारत माँ तुझे सलाम। अमर रहे तेरा नाम, भारत माँ तुझे सलाम। अमर रहे तेरा नाम, भारत माँ तुझे सलाम। अमर रहे तेरा नाम, भारत माँ तुझे ओ देश के हर कोने से आते हैं योद्धा यहाँ। हाँ, देश के हर कोने से आते हैं योद्धा यहाँ। एक सांचे में ढल के बने ये, एक दिल एक जान। 62 या 65 की या 71 की जंग थी। कारगिल के युद्ध में भी एनडीए संग थी। देश पहले बात सब है, अपने लिए तो देश ही रब है। करे इबादत हम तो इसकी यारो उम्र तमाम। अमर रहे तेरा नाम, भारत माँ तुझे सलाम। अमर रहे तेरा नाम, भारत माँ तुझे सलाम। अमर रहे तेरा नाम, भारत माँ तुझे सलाम। अमर रहे तेरा नाम, भारत माँ तुझे
is completing 75 years of service to the nation on 16 January 2024. I joined the academy at the age of 16 in 1966, 29 June. That is 57 years ago, nearly to date. And I am very proud to have graduated from this academy. We are approximately 52,000 officers today in the Indian Army, Navy and the Air Force, right from 1949, who are ex-NDA or ex-Joint Services Wing. The role of the Indian Armed Forces, especially the Indian Army, was acknowledged during the Second World War, and the Sudan block which you saw, I think you'll be planning a visit for this batch also to the NDA. We will take you there. We had planned it for the earlier batch. I trained there, and so did your Chairman and Managing Director, Colonel Marwa. We did everything that you have seen here, and nothing stopped us from doing the best. I could run 10 kilometers very, very easily. I could march 40 kilometers with 20 kilos on my back, and we've done everything. So let me tell you, physical fitness is very important. And you young boys and girls, get into the habit of being disciplined right from 5:30 in the morning. We used to get up at 4:30 and sleep only around 11 o'clock at night. We've done everything. And I think that is what stood us to face the enemy in 1971 at the young age of 21. So my message to you here is, take a lesson from this video clip. The camaraderie that you will build here in the National Defence Academy or in the IIEBM here, whether you become anything important in business or in the governance model, remember your colleagues, your seniors and your peers. We do that even today. Whatever you have seen in this movie is 100% correct. All the fighter pilots, all the bomber pilots, each and every one here was trained at the National Defence Academy. And we are very proud of that fact. That's why I thought I must show you this. If there are any questions, I want to show you now a very important piece which actually happened in the Second World War. There was a pilot who was an outstanding pilot, but he lost both his legs in a training accident. He was boarded out of the Royal Air Force. After that, the Second World War started. So he forced himself to be given a commission with no legs. Both his legs were amputated, but he was taken. He flew a fighter aircraft, and you will see what happened. I'll tell you the lessons which will come out. He flew for England. He was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross twice. He was awarded the Distinguished Service Order twice. He was captured by the enemy, the Germans. He tried to escape, but he could not because there were no legs. Finally, when he was repatriated, the King of England gave him the honor of leading the victory in Europe fly past. See this clip, then we'll have a discussion on this. Thank you.
So it is necessary to be emotionless while you are doing a performing job role in a corporate world.
Emotional.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Yeah. What else? Anyone? Okay.
Sir.
Yeah. Bolu.
Hello, sir. My name is Ajit
Yeah.
from Lucknow. My question is.
Hearing of your voice is my commander, but tell me about
Okay, one second. Let this start. Then we'll take your questions.
with W. Myrmigan. So I'm giving you a squadron. 242.
Sound.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
You don't seem very pleased about it. What's the matter?
Well, sir, I broke a Spitfire last night.
Myrmigan. So I'm giving you a squadron. 242.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
You don't seem very pleased about it. What's the matter?
Well, sir, I broke a Spitfire last night. I overshot the landing. You won't have heard about it yet.
Well, you're lucky. Your new squadron has Hurricanes. Now listen to me. Your pilots are mostly Canadians, and they've had a very rough time in France. They're a bit fed up, especially with authority. They want good leadership. I think you might be the man.
I understand, sir. I'll do my best.
Well, good luck in your first command. We shall soon need every fighter squadron we've got. The Luftwaffe seems to be gathering across the channel.
chaps. Come on.
Pressure cells, UCO's here.
It's arrived, has he?
We're coming in this door at any moment.
What's he like, seen him?
Oh, pressure cells again. He's got no legs.
What do you mean he's got no legs?
I mean, he's got no legs. He gets around on a couple of tin ones.
Great. So now we carry a passenger in the driver's seat.
Who's in charge here? Who's the senior man? Isn't anyone in charge?
I guess I am.
What's your name?
Turner.
Turner, what?
Sir.
Start her up. Come on, jump to it.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Peter, I want to see all pilots in my office in an hour.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Okay. Did you all see this second movie? Yes, sir. Can anyone tell me a few lessons that have come out which are applicable to you in the business world also? Anyone? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Good. What else? Yes, one of the girls. Good. Yes. Another girl. Let's have the girl. Good. Very good. Yeah. Good. Yes. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Yeah. There's two young girls here. Don't judge a book by its. Very good. Yes. Yes. Let's have this young lady. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Last. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now, there are three very important lessons which have come out. And I want you, because, how do you switch this off? Yeah, hello. Yeah, can you hear me now? Okay, first point. And remember, each point that I tell you is applicable when you will become leaders or managers in business. The commander tells this is a true story, absolutely 100% true. The book is Reach for the Sky, written by Sir Paul Brickhill. I think it is there in your library if I'm not wrong. And this is actually what happened in the Second World War. And this pilot, Douglas Bader, retired as the group captain. He had no legs. He came to India in the 1950s because he got a job in Australia with the Burma Shell Company. He came to India. He came to Pune. And he is one of the architects for the disability, the paraplegic center in Pune. Do you have anything to do with the paraplegic center? Nothing. I will suggest one day, Vinod, you can plan a visit to the paraplegic center. Very good. People from the Indian Army, Navy and Air Force who don't have limbs. There are many like this in various wars. They are handicapped, they are on wheelchairs. Douglas Bader gave an example that if a man doesn't have legs, doesn't have arms, he can still do duty for the nation. I must tell you, during the Kargil war, I was a brigade commander, and my army commander, General Pankaj Joshi, belonged to Pune, had no legs. But yet he rose to the top. He was the general officer commanding in chief of an army. The lesson is, don't discard a person just because he is differently abled. Now you don't call it disabled, you call it differently abled. Sometime when your management agrees, they will plan a visit for some of you to the paraplegic center, to the artificial limb center. He set an example that people without limbs can continue to do their duty. And this is what you will find even in the corporate sector. There are people on wheelchairs. There are, separate ramps made in your business, whether it is Hindustan Lever, Unilever, whatever you name it. Even in my company, we had these ramps for the differently abled people to come up. Okay. So, Douglas Bader came here, and that is how the Indian Armed Forces today have people who are differently abled to perform. But now the important lessons, which are applicable to you. The boss calls him and tells him, I am promoting you to take over command of a squadron. Did you hear that? Look at the integrity of the man. He is hesitant. So the boss tells him, that group captain, he says, why aren't you happy? He said, sir, probably you don't know that I crashed an aircraft yesterday and probably it has not reached your ears. Do you still want to promote me? He could have easily said, oh, sorry, I didn't know that. Hold, I am not going to promote you. But he didn't do that. He said, what you crashed was a different aircraft. Go and take over this squadron, which requires a good leader. Point number one. In business, don't discard your subordinate only on one mistake. Many of us make that mistake. One error and you discard the guy. Don't do it. Every human being is bound to make mistakes. Give him a chance. Don't discard a person only on one error. Second point, look at the integrity of the man. He said, I have done this, made this mistake. I want to inform you. That is integrity. Remember that. Own up your mistake. You will be caught sometime or the other. So, be very careful. If you have made a mistake, tell the boss, sorry sir, ये हमसे गलती हो गया, आपको जो करना है करिए. A good boss will not say anything. He will only tell you, दोबारा ये मत होने देना, but they will not discard you. Next, a lot of people brought out, when he came, there was indiscipline amongst the pilots because they thought इसके पास टांग नहीं है, तो इसको हमने अभी पैसेंजर के माफिक चलाना है, क्योंकि आता तो है नहीं इसको कुछ। जिसके पास पैर ही नहीं है ये हमको क्या कमांड करेगा, समझ गए? सो रिमेंबर, when you are placed in command, you have to be professionally competent. Get this point very clear. Wherever you may go, sales, marketing, business development, data analysis, whatever you want to call it, supply chain, if you don't know your job, you will be seen through in exactly 1 or 2 days and you will be out. Your people will not respect you. Is this message very clear? You have to be professionally competent. You have to lead from the front. You have to exhibit and demonstrate your professional competence. It is not only कागज के ऊपर नहीं है ये. And the third most important point is, he exhibited to his people that if I am asking you to do something, be very clear that I will do it myself. And ये नहीं है कि भाई साहब आप 100 फुट के ऊपर से कूदो और जब मेरी बारी आई तो मैं पीछे खड़ा रहूंगा, नहीं. I will be the first guy to jump. Is this clear? So 2 examples in both the movies. The NDA is nothing but a transformation. It is a transition from a young schoolboy, and we have all gone through it, so I am witness to it. Everything that was shown here, I have done it, and Colonel Marwa has done it here. So the second one gives a lot of examples which I have quoted to you. They are all applicable to your corporate sector, wherever you may be. Now, the question about emotion, very valid point. In fact, you have to have an emotional quotient and you have to have an intelligence quotient. It is very essential. You must understand the emotional behavior of the people who are with you and the people whom you are going to lead. And therefore, a certain percentage of emotion will come into your decisions and into your work profile. But don't let emotion totally overrule you, because फिर काम नहीं बनेगा. Is this point clear? Good. There was another person who asked some question. Yeah.
Hello sir, my name is Aditya. So my question is, sir, is Indian foreign policy is affecting the corporate sector in India, or if yes, then how will it is affecting?
Okay. See, all Indian governance models, whether they be foreign policy or whether they be anything, it all dictates, it all impinges on the exports, imports. Foreign policy is exports, imports, the manner in which you network and project yourself as a nation with the other nations. हम जितना भी बात करें आत्मनिर्भर, अभी आजकल ये चल रहा है ना आत्मनिर्भर आत्मनिर्भर, am I right in this? That means हम सब करेंगे, हमें और किसी की मदद नहीं चाहिए, ऐसा नहीं होता है. Even today, United States of America, the top leading nations who are Atmanirbhar, even Israel, require help from other nations, whether it is technology, whether it is raw material, whether it is information technology, whether it is artificial intelligence. We are all dependent on each other up to a certain percentage. But therefore, foreign policy will impact your business models, your business structures, your imports, your exports, your foreign direct investments, everything will be impacted. But if we can be self-sustaining and reduce that margin of dependability, then we are on the road to progress. But अगर हम totally dependent हैं and our foreign policies are not in consonance with the other nations, then you will find trouble. Like oil, crude oil, imports, exports, the Ukraine-Russia war, it all has an impact. The moment a war is imminent, जैसे 71 में हुआ था, the stock market fell down. ठीक है? Your inflation, everything changed the pattern. Same way during the Kargil conflict. Same way if there is an internal disturbance. Therefore, foreign policy is only one part, but everything impacts business. So, there is always a saying which you will learn from your faculty, that your operating margins have to be very, very correctly analyzed. Your faculty will tell you that 20% operating margin, 15% operating margin, can I make my 80 rupees equal to 100 rupees? If I can do that, that is excellent. But I also have to give back to my employees, make them happy. Employee index, voice of employee is very important. So all these have an indirect bearing. Any other questions? So, yeah, I think I have had the pleasure of addressing you all, and I wish you good luck, Godspeed, and do well. Thank you.
We extend our sincerest gratitude to you, sir, for conducting this remarkable and enlightening session. The quote that you said, that when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. In order to be that tough person, we need to understand that we have to inculcate discipline, teamwork, willingness to learn, be flexible in mind, and to unlock the resolute combat potential that we have in each one of us. Don't give up. Always maintain your integrity. All in all, thank you, sir, for visiting our campus, and we always look forward to your next visit. Thank you, sir.